Big shout out to the website What to Play. They're so good for looking for upcoming lists of games, things like RPGs, JRPGs, whatever you want really. They just do a really good job of curating everything, and yeah, just makes my life a bit easier, so go check them out. Hi guys, and welcome back to SwitchUp. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there isn't much that really competes with the feeling of escapism you can get from a very good JRPG. We're going to go over 10 of the best that are coming in the next couple of months, so they'll be coming quite soon, so you better start saving up your pennies. There's constantly new ones being added, so this list is likely to get updated. And just a reminder that we've still got 10% off on our website on all eShop vouchers, cards, online memberships, and there's a few games there as well, just using the code SwitchUp. Everyone is fully well in my house now, which is nice. I haven't been able to say that in a while. And if you do enjoy our content, then consider sticking around. What are the 10 JRPGs coming in the next couple of months that I blatantly aren't going to find the time to play all of, and will end up living happily in my backlog? Well, let's find out. First then, and coming out on January the 13th, 2022, we've got Eternal Radiance. It's priced at £15.29 or your regional equivalent, and clocks in at 3.3 gigs, and is inspired heavily by classic JRPGs, but has action RPG combat. You play as Celeste, and she's on a journey to become a true knight. Through her adventure, she's joined by a couple of companions, Villana and Ruby. There are lots of different quests, there's an enchanting system here, and there are different towns and dungeons for you to visit. Classic JRPG goodness. It's been out on other platforms. It came out in December 2020 on PC, and it received relatively positive reviews. It's got about an 8 on Gamerscore. Then due out in February, we've got Maglam Lord. The adventure itself apparently is about forging magical blades, and you play as the Demon Lord, who, in a bit of a twist to the formula, was seen by this world as the enemy, was essentially hunted by everyone in the universe, and then had to go into a deep slumber to restore himself. And then when you take control upon his or her revival, you're looking for a partner, like an actual love interest partner throughout your adventure, because that will restore your full power and you battle together. Completely bonkers sounding, but it actually looks pretty decent. The world was designed by the same person who worked on the Summon Night series, as was the sound design, and it's looking quite interesting, this one. Potentially a good one to look out for when it launches on February the 4th, coming to Switch and other platforms. We're also getting Death and Request 2 on the Nintendo Switch on February the 8th. That's again been out on other platforms back in 2020. It's reasonably well reviewed and well received, about 7 or 8 out of 10. And it's a JRPG/action RPG featuring heroine Mai Toyama as she seeks to escape her traumatic past. She joins an all-girls dormitory, but unfortunately things don't go quite to plan, and the town is filled with horrific creatures, and I'm sure you can guess what happens from there. She has to deal with most of it. That one's going to set you back $49.99 in terms of dollars or your regional equivalent, but I do know it is quite a popular series and it does have its big fan base, so I'm sure there's going to be some of you checking that one out. Next up, and coming from NIS America, we have Monark. This one releases on February the 22nd and was actually developed by Gearbox Software. In something that sounds quite similar to the recent Ys 9, you have to jump between two different worlds. You've got the real world and the enigmatic other world, as it's described. Of course, there's a large group of allies to call upon to help you on your adventures, and it sounds like there's quite an interesting choice, or at least there's the perception of a choice here where you can choose whether to go towards the light side or the dark side, be good or evil. There is a familiar system here where you call upon fiends to fight alongside you in battle, and the game has an ego system, so the power comes from your ego. Oh, I love it. Where did they come up with this stuff? Yeah, that one launches on the 25th of February 2022 for the physical edition and the 22nd for the digital. 人のエゴを食べて成長する存在だ。その力とエゴでこの先の理不尽に We've got Edge of Eternity coming on February the 22nd. Well, actually, no, it's the 23rd. And it looks incredible, but unfortunately, the Nintendo Switch version is the cloud version, which absolutely sucks. But it is coming out on pretty much every other platform, so you could just pick it up elsewhere. And it's already available on the PC. It came out in June of 2021. It's developed by Midgar Studio, and I don't think it's any surprise that it bears some resemblance to some of the Final Fantasy titles. And it's another one that claims to be inspired by JRPGs. I mean, I think most of these are, but it looks really lovely. There's a shot that's probably on the thumbnail of this video where he stood in an open, lush field, and my goodness, like, for me, that's the perfect art style. There's some fantastic towns to go through, and it does have a turn-based combat system by the looks of it. I'll be really interested to see. I mean, yeah, I don't like cloud versions, I really don't, so I'll probably pick this up on the PS5. But if you've played this one back on PC, let us know down in the comments what it was like. It certainly looks the part, that's for sure. Next up then, we've got Atelier Sophie 2 on Nintendo Switch as well as PlayStation. This actually excites me because Koei Tecmo have shown with Ryza and Ryza 2 that they can actually build upon some of the formulas, no pun intended, and create really enjoyable games. And actually, by them taking Sophie and creating a sequel, if Ryza 2 is anything to go by, this is going to be great. The story this time is set around the dream, I believe, that Sophie has, and she continues her adventures after leaving her hometown of Kirchenbell. She'll be searching for her missing friend as they got separated within a dream. So annoying when that happens. Everything about the sequel, as we saw with Ryza, is an improvement of the original, especially the visuals. They've completely changed the 3D models. The world has seen a huge overhaul. And if you're an Atelier fan, then I think you'll enjoy it. But even if you're not, they introduced quite a few quality of life tweaks to the alchemy formulas in Ryza, and I'm sure we should see some of that coming across. It was just a lot more approachable and easy to pick up and play. Next up then, and looking very similar to the, was it the Liar Prince and the, I can't even remember, comes from NIS, and this one's called The Cruel King and the Great Hero. It's a JRPG with a young girl named Yu, and she wants to set out into the world to become, you guessed it, a great hero. Now, her companion on this one is the Cruel King, a strange and fearsome beast who protects her, but he's not as he seems, and, well, I think we can all see where this is going. It has that interesting art style that some people I think are going to really like, and to others it might look a bit underdone, I don't know, a bit flash animation. It looks to have classic turn-based combat. I actually think maybe I've been a bit harsh there with the comments about flash animation. It's quite a nice art style, isn't it? It looks almost like cutouts. Let's just hope they actually try and do something different with the gameplay though. It does look a tad generic as far as that goes. It doesn't really seem enough nowadays just to say it's a magical world, it's an epic quest. It's, you know, you've got to actually do something as far as gameplay mechanics go to make it stand out, to justify it. But this one is due out on March the 1st. One that I'm most excited for, really, I'd say, is the, I don't even know how you'd say that title, .hack//GU, Last Recode. It was out in 2017 on PlayStation and PC. I never got to play it, but it's from the trilogy that's very well loved. It comes from Bandai Namco, and it's set in the world, and the 2017 versions were actually remakes, or I don't know if you call them full remasters. Yeah, perhaps so. I think they originally came back, was it all the way out back on PlayStation 2, maybe? But this is the collection, so it has all three of the games from the trilogy, and from what I gather, you play as a guy called Haseo, and you're hunting down player killers, PKs. That then increases his strength and helps him to track down the Tri-Edge, which is like one of the strongest player killers who murdered his mate. Now, I know the PC and PS4 versions were 1080p and 60 frames per second. Whether or not that will be the case on the Switch, hopefully. We can but wish. This one was developed by CyberConnect 2 and is, as I say, published by Bandai Namco, and it releases on the Switch on March the 10th.
All of the feelings that I've carved deep into the world are going into this one attack! I'll get you out of there one way or another. Hang in there, Ovan.
I have a favor to ask.
Then a game that was released back in 2019, we've got Crystar, and as the title suggests, the main protagonist realises that she has a power revolving around her tears. With the tagline, "For when I weep, then I am strong." You have to fight, I think, with your sister through purgatory, and there are 4 different characters to play as. It's an NIS title, so you can expect a good amount of craziness, but it was developed by, I think, Furyu. Not the most original ideas in terms of gameplay, but I guess that crying mechanic, well, actually no, the Binding of Isaac beat you to that one, I'm afraid. Now, when it comes to the Switch on March the 29th, there will also be a physical release that includes loads of goodies, hardback cover, you got soundtracks, an acrylic stand, posters, visual diaries, art cards, and a collector's box. If you're not interested in any of that, you can actually pick it up a bit earlier with its Japanese release in February, so there you go. One to look out for. I'm not going to lie, this one doesn't really tickle my fancy.
Here I go! Tear him down! You're an eyesore! Sen, please switch! Let's go! Scatter! Watch your feet!
Last but not least then, on the first of these lists, remember there'll be many more of them as the months go on, but we have Coromon. And as soon as you hear Mon, you know it's a collecting game of creatures that evolve. What is it about the word Mon? Does Mon mean something in Japanese? Like Pokemon, Digimon? Like, what does Mon mean?
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Someone help me out here. But it describes itself as a modern monster taming game with retro pixel art. But what I will say is, my goodness, does it sound charming. Just check this out. And honestly, we've seen a few of these come to the Switch recently and they've been very good, so I haven't got a problem with another one as long as it's actually a good game and the mechanics are all sound. You'll find turn-based combat here, you'll find, as it said, a retro-style pixel art. Is pixel art even retro anymore when it's in most games? I'm not sure. 3D graphics are starting to look a bit retro. I think the last time I saw them was GoldenEye. But yeah, this one looks quite cute. I do quite like the art style. There isn't a specific date, it just says Q1 of 2022, and it has a stamina-based battle system, trying to pick the right skills to do the most damage, hit the weak spots, you know how it goes. And you play as a researcher who is joining the technologically advanced organization of Lux Solace, and who is joining the Titan Task Force, who are, as the name suggests, looking for 6 Titans known in the region. And I'm guessing you'll probably have to take them down using your creatures. Despite my slight skepticism towards some of the elements of it, I must say, it actually does look quite charming, doesn't it? Yeah. Quite looking forward to this one. I do like me some collecting of monsters. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for all of you that watch the channel, that seem to enjoy the content. We really appreciate it. Over 231,000 of you. That's crazy. It's just ludicrous. And yeah, amazing. Thanks to our patrons. You guys support us each and every month. We've been wanting to do some sort of channel, what's it called? Membership, but at the time when most people were announcing it, was like when the pandemic was just kicking in and everyone was struggling, and that just didn't seem like the right thing to do. And also, you don't want to do it badly, do you? So I want to design some really nice emojis and bits and bobs that mean you can leave comments with some custom shenanigans if you want to. So yeah, we'll do something like that, but who knows, if I just need to find some time. Other than that, 10% still on the website. If you want to use that, gives us a little kickback and it saves you 10% on all your eShop purchases. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!